Bitcoin runes may just be the next big narrative in the space, and this is our chance to roll the dice and get in early. Now, many people watching may not be familiar with runes, and in today's video, I'll be explaining exactly what they are and how we can buy them. If you enjoyed the video, please do drop a like and subscribe to the channel. But let's get started. So to get started, we're going to look at this article on CoinGecko, which gives a great overview of what runes are all about. So we're going to look at the key takeaways first, just to keep it nice and simple. So runes is a new protocol to create fungible tokens on the Bitcoin blockchain. Now, fungible tokens, that is just a fancy word for something that we can buy, sell, trade. That is all there is to it. By using Bitcoin's UTXO model and the OP return opcode, runes will simplify the creation and management of fungible tokens. Now, you may be reading these technical terms thinking I don't really understand what that means. I always use the analogy of a car. You may not understand how the engine actually works, but as long as it takes you from A to B, it's serving its purpose and it's doing its job. That is the exact same situation here. Don't be concerned if you are a bit overwhelmed by these terms or don't really know what they mean. Even I don't know to great detail exactly the ins and outs of what it's all about. As long as I can buy, sell, trade, and I know how to use the interfaces, that's all there is to it. So at this point right now, as beginners, we don't have to concern ourselves too much with this. Moving on to the next point, runes will improve Bitcoin's efficiency around fungible tokens while expanding the Bitcoin network's utility to appeal to a wider audience. It makes it easier to create meme coins and other community-driven projects on the blockchain. So I think if we scroll down a little bit here, we can see a tweet from Casey, the founder of Runes. Basically, the first few words make it very clear, runes were built for degens and meme coins. Now, it goes without saying at this point, do not risk more than you can afford to lose. This is a degenerate play and it is going to be extremely risky. Many will go to zero, many will rug, and as we've seen on other ecosystems recently, that is the case, and there will be the odd gem that, pops off and everybody can see that it makes people millions, but it's not always the case. We have to keep that in mind. If we could keep scrolling down, we can see a few quotes from Casey as well. So, creating a good fungible token protocol for Bitcoin might bring significant transaction fee revenue, developer mindshare, and users to Bitcoin. And following up from that, we can see currently the fungible token market for Bitcoin is quite small in comparison to ETH and Sol. However, with the launch of more efficient token standard runes, Bitcoin is positioned well to close the gap between its fungible market cap versus that of other blockchains. So, like he's just explained there, we've seen the meme hype on Ethereum, we've recently seen it on Solana, but Bitcoin has never been that type of blockchain or ecosystem. But maybe runes has just opened the door to this, and this is why it's quite exciting to be in this early. Now, runes only launched a few days ago during the Bitcoin halving, so we are still extremely early to this. Will it play out? Will it be the next 100x trend? It has a chance, we can't say for sure. So I've just done a very quick overview of what runes is, but if you want to find out more, if you want to dig deeper into the technicals of it, then I will leave the link in the description for this article so you can go into it, read the full thing in more detail. Okay, so if you want to buy Bitcoin runes, the first thing you're going to need is a wallet. Now, a lot of people are opting for the popular wallet called Xverse, which labels itself as the #1 Bitcoin Web3 wallet. Now, I'm not going to do a full tutorial today because it is relatively straightforward, especially for those who have used MetaMask or Phantom in the past. It is exactly the same process. You're going to download the wallet for mobile or for desktop. If you are using Chrome like I am, all you have to do is pin it to your extensions in the top right corner, and essentially when you're going through that setup process, you're going to write down your 12-word seed phrase, you're going to get a wallet address, and then you're going to load up the wallet with funds. Now, the simplest way to do this is using a centralized exchange like Coinbase, Binance, whatever you use. You're going to buy some Bitcoin, and you're going to send that via the Bitcoin network. Now, you may think that it hasn't sent or you've done something wrong, but Bitcoin has been known in the past to be relatively slow, especially if you are used to Solana, for example, and the speeds of Solana transactions. So just be patient. make sure that you have double checked the address, but apart from that, give it some time and it will arrive. So you've loaded up the wallet and now it's time to actually buy some Bitcoin runes. And we're going to go over to the website unisat.io, and this is basically the website we're going to use to make the purchases. So we'll go through each sector of it now, but essentially if you've already used this for ordinals, you'll be very familiar with the layout and the interface. At this point, it comes across a little bit technical and complicated, and I actually see this as a bullish sign because it shows that it hasn't advanced yet. We're still extremely early, and ultimately that could work out in our favor. So we're going to keep it very simple. Like I said, if you've already used it for ordinals in the past, all you're going to do after connecting your wallet, just like any other Web3 application, you'll click on Runes. Now you'll see 3 tabs in the top right corner. You've got Inscribe, Explorer and Marketplace, and we'll go through each one in some detail. So Inscribe is all about etching and minting. Now these again are buzzwords you may or may not be familiar with, but etching is basically creating your own rune. You'll fill in the details here, you'll click next, you'll go through the process, confirm the transaction, and then you've created your own Bitcoin rune. People can then go ahead and mint them, trade them, and so on. If you want to actually mint, this is basically very similar to the word obviously that we see in the world of NFTs. Now, if a project has been created, or in this instance a rune has been created, and the minting process has not sold out, then you will still be able to mint them until the max supply has been minted. Now, of course, once it has been minted, you can then only trade it on a secondary market, usually at a premium price if things are going well. But the process here is that if you find a project super early or a rune super early, you'll then be able to put in the rune ID, you'll be able to type in the amount of runes that you want to mint, click next, again, confirm the transaction, go through that very similar process that we've seen before, and click mint. And that is basically what the Inscribe functionality is all about. The next tab is Explorer, and it's very simple and straightforward. You've probably guessed it at this point, but it's all about discovering new runes within the platform. Now, one thing I'm going to mention at this point is you can see some very key information, the progress of the mint, if it's basically sold out or not at this point, if it's still available to mint, or whether you then have to go ahead and purchase on the secondary market. Now, one thing here that is very interesting is you'll see Rune ID down the left-hand side, and this one here with the crazy name with all the Z's, if we click into it, you'll get more detailed information. Now, a lot of it will probably go over your head. The holder's information is quite interesting and can be quite handy when making decisions, but you'll see the supply, the pre-mine, all that kind of stuff. But the interesting thing is the number, and you can see here this is number 1 because this was the first Bitcoin rune to be created. Now, very similar to CryptoPunks in the world of NFTs, kind of that OG status, the same with Bitcoin when it comes to generic cryptos. Number 1 usually holds some value regardless of what it is because it is the OG. Very similar to car number plates or registration plates. The shorter they are, the more kind of exclusive they are, the more they are worth usually in value. It kind of has that connotation to it. And lastly, we have the marketplace, which is exactly where you can trade them on a secondary market if they have already minted out. So we're going to have a look here, and we can see that on the homepage, you can see which runes are actually trending, key information that you would expect, such as the name, the volume in Bitcoin, of course, the price in sats. I mean, it's a little bit difficult to work out when it comes to the USD value or a fiat value, but after a little bit of playing around, you'll soon get used to it. And then the change in 24-hour price. Now, if we click on one, and I'm going to click on Satoshi Nakamoto here, definitely not shilling this, don't just buy because I've clicked on it, but there is a reason for clicking this one. Give me one moment. So you'll see here that you can buy them in bulk. There are a number of different options here. Now, what you'll be able to do is see how many this person is selling and what that is worth in total here. So you can see that it's 0.053 Bitcoin or $3,500-ish, with it being at around $3.51 per sat per Satoshi Nakamoto that you're actually buying. People can list them depending on how many they've got, how many they want to sell in different bulks. There will always be a minimum amount, and in this case it is 100, which is worth around $3.64. And then also what you'll be able to do is click on orders for this, so you can see the activity going on right now for that specific rune. You can see your orders, and this is why I clicked on this one, because I actually have a couple of orders from when I was playing around before recording this video. I don't know what I've bought, I'll be honest. I've just bought one because I seen somebody mention it on Twitter, and I needed to buy one to film this video and be familiar with it all. So I bought some Satoshi Nakamoto here. You can see your order, the wallet addresses, blah blah blah. If you click here in my assets, you'll also see what you've bought, and then you can list them. So again, that is how you would actually sell them. But going back to Satoshi, I'll click on a different one now. Why not this top one? Yeah, and then basically you can just scroll through and pick the amount that is most suited to you, the amount that they are actually selling. Now, of course, you can filter it from price high to low. So what you'll want to do is, if you want to buy a smaller amount, is just find the first one that is actually suitable for you. Now, the one problem you have here, I'm going to click on this one. It's a $59 transaction. You get the confirmation like you would on any other wallet or Web3 dApp, but you'll see the transaction fee right here. Currently right now, to buy around $59 of Bitcoin Pepe Matrix, you are going to pay a fee of $62. Now, it feels like we're back in the Ethereum days now. We've moved over to Solana when it was great, and now here we are in Bitcoin, struggling with transaction fees again. So please make sure that you are keeping this in mind when making any purchases, because it isn't great. Now, Bitcoin wasn't really made for this kind of functionality, for this meme coin world. And we've known in the past that transactions can be slow and it's a little bit clunky on Bitcoin. But obviously, with RUNES being a new fresh hype, it has brought up a lot of attention, a lot of volume, and the transaction fees are now reflecting that. So hopefully this goes down over time, but it's definitely something to keep in mind when making decisions. So to wrap this one up, here are some key takeaways and things to know on Bitcoin RUNES. So like we mentioned, it is still a little bit technical, a little bit clunky, the interface isn't so clean, but this does come in time. Nothing is perfect on day one, and like I said, it could actually be an indication that we are super early, which is ultimately a bullish thing if this hype, if this narrative is going to pick up and run. Now, the problem with it though, of course, is them transaction fees for people with smaller accounts who want to gamble small amounts. Solana at this point is still much more favorable because them transaction fees are just deadly for a lot of smaller portfolios. But on the other side, like I said, when it comes to being early, there is evidence that we are early. If you look at CoinGecko and click on the category of Bitcoin RUNES, there are still, a tiny amount of them listed with not a lot of information or data available at this point, which is an indication of being early. And also the fact that OKX are already adding Bitcoin RUNES to their Web3 platform for people to trade as well. So if you actually prefer to use OKX rather than Unisat, that is an option if you have an account there. But of course, them adapting, them being the first mover, shows to me that maybe they know something that we don't, and it's going to be a big play for them as well as potentially us. So yeah, I just thought I would wrap that up in a quick summary to end this video. Like I said, it is a very technical subject. It is up to you how deep you want to go into the technicals. The link for the first article is in the description, but this was aimed for beginners, just to get that basic understanding of what RUNES are, how to buy, how to sell. If you did enjoy the video, please do drop a like, subscribe to the channel, comment and let me know which RUNES you are buying. We are all early to this. I'm interested to see what you guys are up to. But in the meantime, please do trade safe, invest safe, and I'll catch you in the next one.